Universal Academy of Galactic Sciences prided itself on diversity. Students from 1,000 worlds gathered in its gleaming halls, each bringing unique talents and perspectives. But none drew more sideways glances than Taylor, the silent human who sat in the back corner of advanced combat theory. Professor Jules, a tall, six-limbed being from the low-gravity world of Taros, had initially protested her admission. Humans were classified as Deathworlders, creatures evolved on a planet so hostile that it bred unnaturally resilient organisms. Their home planet, Earth, with its crushing gravity, extreme temperature variations, and abundance of toxins, was considered a hellscape by most galactic standards. "The human hasn't spoken once this semester," Zul complained to the dean. "How can she pass my course without participation?" The dean, an ancient floating orb of consciousness named Orion, merely pulsed with amusement. Judge her on her final exam results as with any other student. In class, Taylor took notes diligently, while other students debated tactical scenarios with elaborate arguments and references to historical conflicts. She watched and wrote. Some classmates whispered that she couldn't speak their common language. Others believed she was intellectually inferior. The truth was simpler. Taylor preferred to listen. When the Vorn Collective attacked the Academy mid-semester, no one expected the silent human to act. The Vorn, insectoid raiders notorious for their hive mind efficiency, struck during examination week. Their ships darkened the sky over the Academy's main campus, and within hours they had established control over most of the facility. Students and faculty were herded into containment fields, their advanced technology rendered useless by Vorn, dampening fields. Professor Jules watched helplessly as armed Vorn soldiers marched through the halls. His combat theory was useless without weapons or the ability to coordinate. The dean had been captured immediately, along with most of the senior faculty. The professor mentally calculated their odds of survival and found them dismally low. "Where is the human female?" A Vorn commander clicked to his subordinate after scanning the frightened crowd. "Our intelligence indicated a Deathworlder was among the student population." "Unknown, Commander," came the reply. "Perhaps she escaped during initial containment." The Vorn commander's mandibles twitched with irritation. "Find her. A loose Deathworlder presents an unacceptable variable." 3 hours passed. The captive Academy members heard distant sounds of combat, short bursts of energy fire followed by silence. The Vorn guards grew increasingly agitated, their synchronized movements becoming erratic as their hive link reported losses. Professor Zul observed with growing wonder as the Vorn force gradually diminished. Guards would leave on patrol and simply not return. Communications became fragmented. The commander barked increasingly desperate orders into his transmitter. A lone Vorn soldier stumbled into the containment area, his exoskeleton cracked and leaking fluid. "She moves through walls," he chittered before collapsing. "She is everywhere and nowhere." The Vorn commander executed the wounded soldier for spreading fear and ordered his remaining forces to converge on the power core. "We will detonate rather than fail," he announced. That was when Taylor made her entrance. She dropped silently from a ventilation shaft directly behind the commander. Before the Vorn could react, she had disabled him with precise strikes to his neural clusters. The remaining guards raised weapons, but Taylor moved with impossible speed across the room, each movement a blur that ended with another Vorn incapacitated. In less than 30 seconds, every Vorn in the room was unconscious or immobilized. Taylor stood in the center, her Academy uniform torn and stained with various colors of alien fluid, her expression calm as she assessed the room. She walked to the containment field controls and deactivated them with a few quick adjustments. As the fields dissipated, she spoke for the first time that semester, her voice surprisingly gentle. "The remaining Vorn forces have been neutralized," she said. "Their ships are disabled. I've contacted Galactic Security Forces who should arrive within the hour." Professor Zul approached her cautiously. "How did you?" "There were over 300 Vorn soldiers." Taylor shrugged. "Your tactics course was helpful, Professor. I applied your flanking principles quite effectively." The Academy reconvened a week later. The dean held a special assembly to honor Taylor's actions. Security footage revealed how one human had systematically dismantled an entire invasion force, using the Academy's infrastructure, improvised weapons, and environmental controls to create advantages against numerically superior forces. In recognition of extraordinary service, the dean announced, Taylor Reed is awarded the highest honors of the Academy and offered immediate graduation with faculty status should she wish to teach. Taylor, standing uncomfortably in the spotlight, simply nodded. Later, in the quiet of Professor Jules' office, the teacher finally asked the question that had been bothering him. "Why did you never speak in class?" Taylor smiled slightly. "On Earth, I was a combat instructor for special operations. I came here to learn, not to teach. Sometimes the quietest student absorbs the most." Professor Jules' appendages trembled slightly. "And what did you learn from us?" "That even the most advanced tactical theories can be improved," she replied. "Your textbook solutions don't account for Deathworlder physiology or psychology. Your simulations assume rational actors with self-preservation instincts. And humans differ in this regard?" the professor asked. Taylor's eyes reflected something ancient and dangerous. "We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day, Professor. We don't just survive threats, we eliminate them so thoroughly they never return." She gathered her few possessions. "I'll accept the teaching position. Your students should understand what they might face if they ever consider Earth a viable target." As she walked away, Professor Jules realized with a shiver that the silent human had taught the most important lesson of all. In the vast diversity of the galaxy, underestimating any species, particularly Deathworlders, could be the last mistake one ever made.